Yeah, I thought that I would do some front raises. I increased the weight a little bit on the front raises because my hands were getting a little bit numb whenever I was raising the dumbbells for so many reps in the sets and stuff. And so I thought that if I increased the amount of weight on the dumbbells, then it might decrease the amount of sets that I need to do, so that I would get a good workout. The sets, what they do, or the front raises, what they do is they work on my teres muscles quite a bit. They work on the rear deltoids a little bit. They work on the triceps a little bit. Work on most of the stuff that's in the back, most of the muscles that are in the back. If you notice, what I do whenever I do these front raises is, well, just for originally, I thought maybe I would try and do it without the cushion underneath me, and then the next set, then I did it with the cushion underneath me, and it had a little bit more difficulty to it, and I was just kind of concerned about how difficult it was going to be, because I thought that I didn't want to make it too difficult because I had increased the weight already, and I'd wanted to be able to do the amount of reps and the amount of sets, the normal amount of reps and normal amount of sets that I like to do. I like to do 6 sets of at least 53 repetitions or more. But so I had the wheelchair cushion underneath me, which is a Stimulate honeycomb cushion for one set, but like I said, it was just a little bit too much. It seemed to put a little bit too much stress on my left shoulder, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the way it was feeling, so it felt like it wasn't necessarily putting stress on the muscle. It was more putting stress on the bones or on the cartilage, ligaments, things like that, not on the muscle. But what I did, so I switched over to not having the wheelchair cushion underneath me, and that was pretty good, because then I wasn't putting so much stress on my shoulders. If you notice, what I'm doing right there at the end is I don't lower my arms down fully, but I still keep a slight bend in the elbows. But the reason why I do that is because I want to try and keep that stress. I want to try and keep that pressure, the stress on the muscles in the back, the teres muscles of the wings, the rear deltoids, the triceps. So on the last, those were some little extra sets, little extra repetitions that I did at the end there, and I did work up a pretty good sweat, so that was kind of nice. And after my hands did go numb, they were in pretty bad, they were pretty uncomfortable. So I think that maybe I should increase the weight a little bit more, but then decrease the amount of sets, and that way I wouldn't get so much. I think it was cutting off the nerves in the hands, in my palms, and I don't think that was good. So that's not what I'm aiming for at all. You see here I have my hands open. I'm opening and closing my hands so that so I can get some circulation back in my hands. And then after that, I thought, well, what the heck? I might as well get a drink of water. I was pretty thirsty. If you notice, what I'm doing is I'm trying to grab onto the edges of the bed as much as possible to kind of work on balance and keep myself balanced, to keep myself from not falling off of the bed. Although it's pretty unlikely that I'm going to fall out of the bed because I am in the center of our bed, even though our bed is kind of small. But so if I have my wife hooked up the vacuum system for my hip bursitis last night, and I haven't had any leaks. She does a pretty nice job, so that was hooked up, and that was one of the things that was making it a little bit difficult to do these front raises in more of a quicker format, but it worked out all right. You know, I was still able to do some exercises and get the blood pumping, get the heart racing. So, yep.